Hello, welcome to the 25th day of October 2025. My name is Kurt, and this is my daily Good Life meditation, a live daily video that I do to go over my life objectives and principles, to measure these against the last 24 hours to see how I did applying my values to the challenges and opportunities that I met. I also use the time to prepare for tomorrow and to review the objectives of my creed and one of the principles. All right, well, welcome to new subscribers to the channel. It's good to have you here. And just a quick note that this is a journal entry, so this video. So it's a live journal entry. You're welcome to watch, leave comments or criticisms as you see fit. I will read those when I get to the end. But since it's a personal journal that I do publicly, I'm at liberty to talk about anything that I want for as long as I want. And be forewarned, I do talk about death sometimes, pretty much every day. So if that's an uncomfortable subject for you, then please keep that in mind. Also, huge thank you to my those who watch my videos and my members on YouTube and my supporters on Patreon. I really do appreciate it. And an announcement that my new Good Life GPT is live and running. It's available now. I'm going to start sending out the links probably this weekend. I'm running it through some tests, but so far the tests that I've been running are, I think I've solved a couple of problems that I had to making sure that it would refer to the canonical document that I gave it, and it seems to be doing that now. So that's good. That helps the AI to hallucinate less. But the Good Life GPT, which you can find yourself if you just go into ChatGPT and go into their their GPT library and search for the Good Life or search for my name, Kurt Bell, you'll find it, and you can have talks with it today, and it'll speak to you from the perspective of going alone. From basically, I taught it this book, namely, I taught it the Creed, and it seems to know it pretty well. So you can ask it questions. Um, talk about challenges in your life, etc. That's basically, I got the idea because that's what I've done. I had created my own personal GPT for just that reason. I had trained it on my own creed, and I used it to help me navigate through the challenging things that I face in life, including the situation called the situation. I keep mentioning from day to day this last week or last 2 weeks, but I don't ever describe because it's not my situation to share. But it is a situation that involves me and may summon me back to America, maybe sooner than later. And I need to stand ready. And I was using my GPT, to help me with that. And so I went ahead and created a GPT that others could talk to as well, and it's up and live. All right, that's enough for the initial disclaimer part of this. Take a sip of my coffee. All right, so under the heading of the last 24 hours in my notebook that I keep with me all the time, it says, as I've already referenced, anxiety about the return to the USA. So I didn't get a good night's sleep last night. It's the first time I haven't had a good night's sleep in a long, long time. And the reason was very simple. I, though I am prepared to go back to the United States, um, my mind, my my reason has prepared me, and my actions have prepared me. There's a part of my mind that isn't quite there yet. Can't quite believe that I might leave this all behind and go back to America soon, possibly for a very long time, and leave my wife and the dogs and the observatory. By the way, that's what I call this room now. It's called the observatory because I have this beautiful view of the bamboo forest in my backyard, and then the trees beyond, the sound of the river. And so I have to leave the observatory and this whole life that I've set up here to go back to America into a very fraught situation. And it's going to, for a very good purpose, but it will nevertheless challenge me on many ways. And I'm not ready for that. I mean, I'm ready to go and I will go, but I'm not ready to go. I'm just settling in to this retired life, and to upend it and go back into the It's like being. I feel like a. I mean, it feels exactly like a soldier coming back from the front lines. Into the into the reserve units in the back, and whew, man, that was a hard one. A hard fight. Back there in the lieutenant saying, "Soldier, turn right around and go right back." Yes, sir. So I go. So I couldn't sleep last night from 1 to 4 o'clock. Now, the GPT that I told you about, I had a talk with it about it, and it reminded me that, um, and it said something really interesting. It said, uh, wait, what did it say? It said something like, whoops, hold on, let me grab this. Something about the shadow of something that I thought was a really well spoken thing. It's worth looking up. Just a second, please. Got my other phone here, which has ChatGPT on it too. So I explained the situation to it and about my sleepless night last night. He says here, it said, the mind doesn't always rest in logic's shadow. Because I was telling it specifically about the sleepless night I had last night. And the AI said, but the mind doesn't always rest in logic's shadow. It frets because the stakes are personal. Well put, right? So, sure, I've logically put everything into place. And I've set the stage. I was working yesterday, setting the stage with all the human beings involved back in America about, what the circumstance and how I can come over there. And I basically gave them like a safe word, right? It's like, because you know, they have to want me to come, right? If I'm going to go back and be helpful, it has to be. I can't force that upon others. And right now I'm not wanted, which is the reason I'm not there yet. And I have. So I've prepared my household. I've prepared my finances. I've prepared my the logistics, and I've reached out to everybody on the other side, and I've told them I'm ready. I'll be there. Just give me the word. That's the logic of it all. Getting the whole thing ready. But like ChatGPT said, the mind, or more appropriately, the Good Life the Good Life GPT said the mind doesn't always rest in logic's shadow. And I didn't rest last night, and it took me some. And my mind is still getting used to the idea. Yeah. Okay, and that's good. I'm up to this particular task, I think. All right. As for my creed, and I had a really nice lunch yesterday with a viewer. This is I think it's maybe only the first or second time that someone has visited me twice here in Japan. So this was a second time from a YouTube viewer came back to visit, and we had lunch together, and then we had tea in downtown Shizuoka. It was a very nice time. Thank you for that. All right. As for my creed, I'm going to go fast again just because I'm a little worn out. Just all I have to do is, and that's the way this is by design. When I do this exercise every morning, when I get to this part, I'm at liberty to just name the 8 objectives. That's all I have to do. I don't even have to talk about a principle if I don't want to, but I have to at least name the 8 objectives. And they are, and you can read about them in my book, Going Alone, which you can read for free. Thank you to all my Patreon supporters because you guys pay for the website at goingalone.org. Just go there, click on the Read the Book button, and you can find it in the chapter titled The Good Life. The 8 objectives are: to be always ready to die, to make good and effective use of time, to develop and maintain good and sound life principles, to cultivate good emotional reactions, to perform good actions relative to my values, to recognize my true limits and true opportunities. I got it right. to do just one thing at a time and do that thing slowly and deliberately and carefully, and to keep my balance. And if you're wondering, because I went fast, if you want a more in-depth discussion of any of those 8 objectives, just go to the Good Life GPT and ask. It knows them all as well or better than me. And I think the reason, and I do mean that when I say better than me, because it understands better than me the Stoic underpinning and infrastructure and history that is underneath each of the objectives that I codified in my book. So you can get a better treatment of these objectives if you talk to the GPT than talking to me. One principle today. We're going to read again, as I have been for about a week now, borrowing Jim Jam Bird's book. He sent this to me to sign and illustrate, and it's a slow process, especially with the situation. And Jim Jam Birds, if you see this, what's going to happen if I get called back to the United States? I'm going to take this with me, finish the job over there, and then I can just mail it to you from North America. All right, so I'm going to read now the Path of Wildness, which is something that I did illustrate in your book. I put a little path illustration right there for you, Jim Jam Birds. The Path of Wildness. Let me move this candle over so I can read it. Wow, it's like Dickens. The Path of Wildness. Sub-principles. Shadow Dividend and Ulysses Ride. At every crossroads, I will assess the fact. Sorry. At every crossroads, I will assess the fact that a decision must be made, and then determine how much time I have to make it, and then collect my facts and consider the opinions, and then decide at the appointed time. If my facts are insufficient, and there really is no more time, then I will listen to my gut instinct, let it have its say, and then perhaps move in that direction, confident in having made the best evaluation I could in a reasonable amount of time and with the resources and facts at my disposal. I will be all right with whatever outcome, even if the next end is death, and I will be aware the hard and I will beware the hard benefits which come of such change, the improvements which hurt, but which can be had in no other way. The shadow dividend is the pain of change and the loss of what is no longer needed, and I will suffer well through the decided pathway, like Ulysses riding the storm and temptation which he chose for his own. The Path of Wildness was how this whole book started. It's an idea I had hiking in the mountains here in Japan, that there might be a route by which we can follow if we follow our best instinct, even especially when we reach a stalemate between options and we have no good way to make a decision, and we can just follow our gut, which may be wrong, but at least will keep us in forward motion. Is that a very American perspective? The optimistic forward motion of the American psyche. Maybe it is. Okay. All right, the next 24 hours, it's a Saturday. Today we're going to have an interesting thing. We're going to tour the Japanese Mint, the factory where they make the 10,000 yen notes. So it's just down the street. Believe it or not, it's just on the outskirts of here in the Valley of Tea is where one of the factories in Japan where they make the 10,000 yen note. And we're going to go tour it today at 9 o'clock. So I'm looking forward to that. So I'll finish this, wrap this up, do morning exercise maybe if the rain stops, and it looks like it is, and then walk the dogs, have breakfast with my lovely wife, and then go out and do the factory thing, and we'll follow the day from there, see how it goes. It's a Saturday after all. No office hours today. All right, as for, let's read comments. And by the way, it is currently, check the temperature. I've got a temperature thermometer indoors now. It says it's 20 degrees indoors. Outside looks like it's about 12 degrees and about 85% humidity. Interesting combo there. Good morning. It's Tim. Hi, Tim. Weather check for the UK at 9:37 p.m. is 70 degrees. 7 degrees, sorry. And 70 degrees C would be a bit of a bit of problem, wouldn't it? 7 degrees C and 95% humidity. Showery, cool day. Sounds nice. Erica is growing. Hi, Kurt. Hi, Erica. Hope this day treats you well and vice versa. Thank you. Erica says hi to Tim. Tim says hi to Erica. There's Jim Jam Birds, whose book I was just holding up. Hello, interesting weather here today. 12 degrees C, rainy and stormy with 60 km/h wind gusts. No kidding. Sound, spoken like a pilot. um, Jim Jam Birds, by the way, you are the very first person to beta test the Good Life GPT. And I wanted to tell you, I was going to send you a text message this morning, but I'll just tell you here personally. I think I got it fixed so that it's referencing the correct. A couple things. I fixed it so that it will reference the correct principles and objectives, and it's no longer avoiding objective number one, being always ready to die. Remember, if you guys remember a couple of days ago when I had first mentioned about the GPT, I even tested it. I made a video where I tested it for the first time. It was avoiding any talk of death. I think I got it past that by explaining to it what I'm doing. The only glitch in the system right now seems to be, and all the principles and objectives that I've so far tested, it seems to understand. The only glitch in the system is that every now and then it speaks out this strange code that it's assigned to the objectives and principles. And I'm going to work on, weeding it out so it doesn't do that. It kind of breaks the magic when it does that. But Jim Jam Birds, if you're interested in continuing beta testing, please have at it. It seems to be working really good right now. I've asked it to define principles and objectives, and I've also given it some moral dilemmas to see what it would do, and it came out really good. Robert. Hi, Robert. Robert says, Robert is believing yourself. Says hi to Kurt. Tim. Erica is growing. Jim Jam Birds. And chimes in with 50 degrees Fahrenheit and 53% humidity with an air quality index of 14 in Napanee, Ontario. Did you see Kevin's podcast that he just dropped? The Tales from Kevin podcast. Robert, I was just listening to it this morning as I was wrapping up a few things, and he had his AQI meter out, and it was like 120. What the heck? He lives in a big city in China. Erica's going says hi to Robert. Tim says, certainly sounds like a challenge as the situation is turning one's life upside down as well as others. I can sympathize whilst you can be prepared. It's a heavy cloud. Well, it's an interesting thing, and there's some stoic elements to this. In I think in recognizing the true limits. With my limits are that my opportunity are to my limit is that I can't be helpful where I'm not wanted unless it turns into a situation where the person in question can't make those decisions for themselves and I have to step in a way to help with that. So clearly this is a family member I'm talking about, but they still are of right mind. And if they don't want me there, then it's not doesn't make sense for me to go. So what I've done is I've made it very clear to everyone involved that that person needs to either one be incapacitated and they can't make a decision, in which case I can go and execute some help, or they need to make a decision whether they want me there, because it's not a matter of not being wanted there. I mean, it's almost a hostile not wanting me there, right? I mean, it's almost, if I was to go right over right now, I would probably be pretty quickly shown the door, and that wouldn't be helpful to anybody. So it has to be a situation where the door is held open a little bit, and then I'll go. I'm surprised it hasn't gotten that there yet. I think it's going to happen. So it's stoic in insofar as recognizing where the limits are, but we're recognizing an opportunity to pave the way. All the people and the surrounding people that are involved, I've communicated to each of them that I will come over if I'm asked, if I'm needed, if that person that needs the help wants me to be there. And I've asked them, please remind them of that. No, I'm not gonna pound their heads with it. I've made it very clear to them, and I will reach out as I do every day to keep the line of communication open. But it's a delicate thing. Robert says, Tim says hi to Robert. Evelyn, hi, Evelyn. Says hi to myself, Robert, Erica, Jim Jam Birds. Jim Jam Bird says, I can speak to the GPT's value. It's been incredibly helpful in working through thoughts. Really? You found it helpful already? What I would recommend, Jim Jam Birds, if you have one that you've created already, and maybe kill that instance and start and go to the original GPT and start a new instance, because what'll happen is the instance that you have now, if it's been open for a couple of days, it's using the old configuration, right? You have to instantiate to get the new configuration. You have to instantiate a new GPT from the Good Life GPT. This isn't just a thing with my GPT. It's the thing with all custom GPTs. So if I go in and make a configuration change, I kill the old window that I was talking in, fire up a new one, and then it loads those new changes. So if you're not using the latest one, and I did the last update yesterday afternoon Japan time, so I would say that would be about 16 hours ago or something like that. If you're not using the latest one, then I highly recommend starting a new one. And I think you'll be if you're already happy with the results, you'll be maybe happier. And thank you for being a beta tester. Come, Jim Jim Birds, come visit me in Japan. I'll take you out for lunch to pay you for your efforts. Robert says hi to Evelyn. Jim Jim Bird says, sounds good about my book. I may have a lot of air miles on it by the time it returns to me. Yeah, getting a head start on you, right? Wink, wink. You know what I mean. I won't. I won't talk anymore about your personal ambitions. Uh, Good day, all. Oh, Jim Denberg is saying hello to everybody else. Sarah, hi, Sarah. I like your concept of the path of wildness. I think also for like-minded people that can't follow the path that society suggests for us, you need to create your own path. So you know where I got the idea was I was hiking in the California desert, and I had hiked up to the top of a ridge in the Mojave Desert. I was alone, and I had gone along the top of the ridge, and I was at a canyon, and I decided to go down the canyon the other way. Now, stupid me, I wasn't keeping track of the day. I'd never been down that canyon. I didn't know what was down that canyon. I didn't have a flashlight. It was getting dark. It was going to be a moonless night. I was going to be in trouble if I couldn't get back. Plus, once I was in the desert, and I wouldn't be able to even find my car if I didn't get back in time. So I had a lot of risk. This was in my early 20s. Stupid me. Almost died several times in the desert during those adventures. Anyway, going down that canyon, I reached a strange kind of a fork, which usually forks going the other way. But I reached a kind of a fork, and I had two ways to go. It was like at the very top, and there was kind of a little ridge, and I could have gone one way or the other, which would lead down two canyons. And I thought to myself, if I choose the wrong one, the smart thing would have been to go back and come down the way I went. But Thoreau once wrote in Walden about the true adventurer never taking the same way back. So I was determined, dumb me. And I realized that if I make the wrong choice, I could wind up stranded overnight out there in the wilderness. And I was terrified. I was kind of immobilized with fear. And I should have gone back, but I was like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? And so I kind of climbed up and I looked at both, and I tried to get a look at the topography to take in as much empirical data as I could. And I used my reason to think through it a little bit. And then I just went with my gut. And that was the start of the idea of the path of wildness, where with the path of wildness, we reconnoiter the land. If we have more than one choice, we reconnoiter the landscape ahead of us to try to collect as many facts as we can. And if we still can't get all the information we need to make a fully informed choice, like I couldn't see everything about both options, we lean with our gut. And I chose to the canyon to the right. I made it back to the car without any issue, didn't encounter any waterfalls that I couldn't climb down. It worked out okay. And that was the birth of the path of wildness. And I just analogized that into life in general. Whenever I'm at a crossroads, I try to stand on tippy toes to peek over and see as much information as I possibly can. Give it a good long think, and if I can't make it in a fully informed, rational decision, then I complete the decision making process with a gut feeling. I'm going to the left. That's the path of wildness. It's easy to find. It's the course of a stream, leaves blown in the wind, a beast's track through the brush, and the direction of our first inclination. All right. And Sarah goes on, even though it might be a little overgrown and difficult to move through. Well put, Sarah. Well put. Evelyn, hi Evelyn. Good afternoon and good evening, everyone. Sarah says hi to good morning. Says a good morning to everyone. Robert says hi to Sarah and Elvina. Sarah says hi to Robert. Elvina says hello to Robert. Vivian Wassam says hi, Kurt and friends. Greetings from Rio de Janeiro. Hey, Vivian, it's good to see you again. It's been a while. Greetings to you in Rio. I don't know. It just feels like the kind of you have to have that Rio spiciness. You know, I don't know. That's my impression of Rio. Is is like a zesty salsa for life. Maybe I'm wrong. Um, believe in yourself. Robert says hello to Vivian. Vivian, I hope I'm saying your name right. And Jim Jembert says, I have been refreshing the GPT and have definitely seen improvements. Oh, good. I worked hard at it yesterday. I mean, I spent probably 3 hours yesterday um, getting that. And I think I've got it the way I want it. I mean, it's almost ready for prime time. I'm almost ready to announce it. What I want to do next, and I might do this today, is go through and ask the GPT to explain each of the objectives and principles. And if it understands them, then it's off to the races. Otherwise, I'll have to do more tuning. All right, I've reached the end of everything, and I have a little bit of time. What time is it? It's time for you to head to for radio exercise. It's a wet day, but it's not raining now. It was raining earlier. I think I'm gonna go maybe go at least go stand there and see if anybody shows up. Thanks for joining me, everybody. You are such a wonderful group of people. It means a great deal for me to see you. I was one of the things I was thinking last night is if I go back to America, what the heck am I gonna hold on just a second. Hey Siri, what time is it in Los Angeles? It looks like it's 1:59 p.m. So that would mean that if I would did this in the United States, I would start this at about I guess 1 p.m. or something. Hold on. No, I would start this about 1:30 1:30 p.m. I could fully do that. So I could continue doing this at the same time from the United States. That would be a good that would work well. A couple more comments. Tim says, "Did I hear yesterday say you did your radio exercise online? Is there anything on YouTube I could follow?" You betcha. Sure. Just type radio. Here, let me show you. Just a second. Type in Tim. Go to YouTube and just write radio exercise Japan, and you'll get these. The first one here is called Rajo Taiso 1 and 2. That's the same one that we do every day. It's 6 minutes long. 腕と足の運動。立って行っている方は足の曲げ伸ばしを元気よく。 So the sit down is for people that are a little bit older, that are incapacitated or in wheelchairs, and the stand up is for the more. You can do it right there. It's a heck of a lot of fun. See, that's what I did because I missed it yesterday. Sarah says, "Have a great day, everyone." Cloud says, "Hi and bye." Hi and bye. Good to see you, Cloud S. Evelyn, Kurt, you are very joyful. Thanks. Thank you. I feel much better. I'm feeling a little bit better right now than I have the last couple of days. I've been anxious about this America thing, this situation back in America. Tim says, "Great. Thanks, Kurt. We'll have a look." Fab. All right. And Tim, if you come visit me in Japan, then in the morning I'll drag you up there and you'll be prepared. You'll know the moves. I do that with Emily when she shows up. She should know all the moves. I always drag her up there and with all the senior citizens, and we all get a kick out of watching her try to keep up. Tim says, "I'm looking forward to starting." Excellent. In Japan, it's 6:30 a.m. is when we do it here. That's the whole. Literally, Tim, the NHK, the National Broadcast Network. Maybe you have that in the. Well, of course, it would be the BBC, right? Imagine the entire country. It's a live broadcast. Plays it all over the whole entire country all at once. Elvina says, "Oh, I'll look at the radio exercises. Looks interesting. Excellent." Remember, the search term is Japan radio exercise. And Evelyn says, "I remember you doing the radio exercise on the beach." I did do it. And you might remember I did it just before I boarded the plane to come to America as well. Thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you all have a wonderful day and a terrific weekend. No office hours today. It's the weekend, but I'll be in. I should be in my. No, well, maybe will I? I have no. I have a driver's. I won't be on it on Monday because I'll be at the Japanese driving department on Monday. Hopefully, getting my Japanese driver's license back. So I'll see you in the office hours on Tuesday if you choose to join me again. Thanks, Robert. Take care. Oh, and Robert, thank you for joining me in the office yesterday. It was good to have you in there with David. That was the first time I had two people at once to talk to. Take care, everybody. Bye bye.